Hey, hi guys, welcome back. All right, so this is going to be a today's topic video. It is going to be for the 20th of April. I don't know why I wanted to say February, but I almost did. But it is for the 20th of April. We are not going in reverse. We are not going back in time, but maybe the 20th of April was important for someone. In any case, we just started out with the Strength card and the High Priestess, two major arcana to get us rolling. That is a big roll. We've got somebody who is trusting their intuition like never before, completely convinced that they are feeling it, tasting it, smelling it, sensing it exactly the way they are supposed to. Their perception is on point. They are trusting their intuition explicitly right now. To take a leap of faith forward. Wow. To have some kind of a renewal, to have some kind of an, okay. So first off, out of 5 cards, 4 are major arcana, right? Somebody is taking a leap of faith forward to have a judgment call, to make a judgment call. And this is about something that they had been very, like back and forth in their head on, very guarded against. And they are saying, I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to do it. I am trusting that everything. So maybe there is something special about, a particular day, maybe the 20th is a day of like courage, a day of 5 of Wands. Man, somebody really gave this a lot of thought. I mean, they had been chewing on this for a while, maybe since February, but going round and round and round and round in their head with that 5 of Wands. What is this? Tell me about the Judgment card. We have got a 10 of Wands at Ace of Pentacles. It's very much about a new beginning. It's about laying down a burden and starting fresh. It's about closing one chapter, letting go of something that had really troubled someone. Okay, what does that mean, though? That could still go in so many different directions. What does that mean? The Tower. Okay, so this is all about completely laying oneself bare. I'm not going to have any ego in the way. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to like, blah, like that maybe is not the most graceful way for me to describe that. But this is like, it's the verbal vomit. I'm going to say it all. Page of Swords. And somebody is ready to listen. Whoever that, or we just see this person who's recognized that the only way for them to have a new beginning is to lay everything on the line. Somebody's about to come on in with a big old, I feel like they're just going to babble a million miles a minute and not stop until they got it all out. We got a 4 of Cups and we got a Knight of Cups. Both of these speak of, you notice how this feminine is up in the clouds here, but she's holding this masculine whose head is open. And, it's like kind of like a little bit of a dissection thing going on. We've got like a measuring tape and little scissors and such. I would say that this is somebody who has, there was so much confusion about trying to understand who someone was. And with this particular Knight of Cups, this is somebody who was trying to nurse like a ghost back to life, nurse a ghostly spirit back to life. Right now, I'm actually inclined to say that this is not about somebody trying to get everything to have a reunion. I'm wondering right now, because we got a lot of divine feminine on all these cards. I'm wondering if a divine feminine is saying, I'm ready to take a leap of faith forward in my own life by calling judgment on this and letting go this thing that I thought about for so long. I questioned what was this person to me? Why did I meet them? Did I mess things up with them? I think that they're ready to say, I need to stop questioning it now. I need to just let it go. I need to say, I never fully understood this person. I really loved them, though. I really did. And I tried to understand them. And at even my detriment, maybe I realized that they actually were wounded. Maybe that's why I was trying so hard to understand them, because I know somewhere deep down that they genuinely did have some issue an issue that I don't have. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm flawless. It just means that I don't maybe have the same fears and things that they did. And maybe that's why I thought and I thought and I thought about this person, and I clung to this, and I still tried to make sense of it. Maybe that's what our lead character is doing, is they're allowing themselves to say, okay, let me look at a situation and my role in it. Let me ask myself, why did I behave in a certain way? And it's making sense, and to the point where this character could even be saying, and maybe I didn't always choose right. Maybe I regret that I tried so hard to like evaluate them and understand them, but I did do it for the right reason because I really loved them. But maybe there's stuff about them that I'll never know. Maybe there's struggles that they have that I'll never know. We've got this Knight of Wands. And this Knight of Wands, you notice this person is standing here, but behind this suit of armor. I gotta say, I really think that this is a character right now who's just saying, if the person that I dealt with was simply a Knight of Wands, they were someone who was never going to be able to commit, that in and of itself shows that they got their own issues. Rushing around trying to win people's hearts over when they're not really intending to give or build something, they've got a lot of problems if they're running around doing that. Like, that's like something that they need to work on. It's not something that I need to feel bad about. They maybe have some issues that I don't have, those same issues. That's why I tried to love them so much and tried to make them feel better about themselves. But if I boil it down and I say, what did their actions show me? Maybe they like being that kind of a person because it's the way they keep their own issues at bay. They never stay long enough to really get invested. And you know what? If I realize that now, if I really just let down my guard and I say, hey, if somebody wants to live that life, don't they have every right to do it? They surely do. And don't I have every right to make my life amazing and for me to build and grow and for me to be different than them? Yes, I do also. It doesn't make me superior. It doesn't make them inferior. It just is what it is. I think that our character is just letting something go. This Two of Pentacles is very much, it's working with the gut instinct now instead of the head. I think that our character was trying so hard at one point to understand whomever I'm going to say this is probably someone that they were in love with. It's someone who could not give to them anything more than just a knight's energy. And, they were really trying to figure out what is going on in this, possibly man's head, just because we have a masculine. Remember, I don't read for genders. It could be same-sex couple, could be flipped roles, doesn't matter. But the bottom line is our lead character, who may be a divine feminine, is laying down this whole situation by doing one simple thing. They're asking their gut instinct, what do we really believe about this situation? What I really believe is I tried really hard to get in their head and understand them because I really loved them. And maybe I wanted to nurse them back to health because maybe I knew that they are someone who is more of a player, who needs attention, who is someone that I wanted to give them attention, but I wanted them to feel safe enough to like reciprocate it and then, get beyond that, that fragility, that running and, never quite being able to commit. But in reality, maybe deep down, I know that the reason people do anything is because that's where their comfort zone is, or that's what they want to do. So even if it's unhealthy, that if that's where their comfort zone is, that's what they want to do, I was never going to change that person. And I think that our lead character is just laying it on the line and just saying it that way. And they're all of it is like they're finally looking at it just from their gut instinct. And they're saying, and the fact that I tried to give to them actually didn't deplete me at all. I'm still exactly who I am. This person, our divine feminine, could be an earth energy, does not have to be what we have, a Queen of Pentacles, but they are recognizing that they actually didn't lose anything by trying to spend a lot of time and figure out who that person was and what made them tick and all of that. They didn't lose anything. They gained some insights about themselves. They learned more about how to trust their instinct. They learned that they're a pretty fearless person. They learned that they are willing to give something all they've got. And then they're also powerful enough to take a leap of faith forward and make peace with something and look at things with realistic eyes. This is someone who is a combination of like sensitive, kind, loving, and also a realist at the end of the day, and someone who can be very honest with themselves, and someone who knows that the only way to move forward and let themselves love a new person is to lay this down. And to lay it down, it requires them to look at it with a real set of honest eyes. What did I do? I tried to figure out somebody that I loved a lot, someone that I wanted to have a connection with, but they were a Knight of Wands and I was trying to be a Knight of Cups. I was trying to give to them. I was trying to nurture, and that's not where they were at. But they didn't deplete me after all. Like, not at all. In fact, I think that our character feels better than they have in a long time. With this Page of Wands, this is a divine feminine. I'm just going to go ahead and read it that way. What I mean by that is it could still be a man, but we all have divine masculine and feminine energies within us. So even if this is a male character, they are standing in their divine feminine energy, meaning that the energy of like receptive and gravitational pull, because it's the energy of the moon. But they are very much like, they're feeling way better about themselves. Right now, I'm going to keep referring to this as our divine feminine. Our divine feminine feels so much better about themselves. They don't feel used. They don't feel unloved. They don't feel stupid that they tried to love somebody that rejected or something like that. None of those emotions are present for our character. Instead, again, we have the Fool card out of this deck. We have the Sun and the Moon. We have somebody, and the Sun and the Moon are in the reverse, right? But there is this leap of faith forward. And you notice how this is not to be rude and to step on this man, but it's more like she's saying, thank you for what I learned. That is a stepping stone. My experience with you has helped me choose to move forward. And so thank you. It wasn't a happy lesson, but I really did get it. I really did learn it. I learned that maybe about, and in this case, because the Sun and the Moon are representing the masculine and feminine aspects, our lead character could even be saying, I realized that was maybe my own toxic femininity trying to find somebody and heal them and fix them into being what I think they should be. And maybe I admittedly found someone who was in toxic masculinity. And so it, like we kind of were bringing each other down, not bringing each other up, trying to fix somebody, trying to heal them, trying to help them, feel love when they either don't want to, or they only want passion, or they only want to run in and run out, and trying to like give them a reason to like experience love so they don't behave that way. That's not really anybody's job to do that for another person. That's kind of bossy, right? That's almost like, well, you'd be so much happier if you could just love me. Well, that our lead character doesn't operate that way. They're super like raw and honest with themselves. So they're recognizing any kind of toxic pattern that they had been in. And this is more along the lines of like really seeing that, taking a leap of faith. It wasn't really what they wanted to do. They didn't really want to have to leave this behind, but they are, and they are very clear on why. And if we look at this Moon card in the upright, we notice that she had been walking around always staring at the face of a skull, like something that's already gone and dead and finished. And she'd been for a long time probably walking around still thinking about them all the time, this relationship that's already over. And you notice though that she has a backbone that we can see. She's strong. She gave this enough time for herself to never losing herself in this, but she was preoccupied for a while. But it's interesting because looking deeply enough into this situation that is already over is actually what was illuminating her way through the dark. So she learned a lot. This is an interesting situation where it's like everything that she maybe wanted this person to be for her, she realizes they're not that for her. They'll never be that for her. But she needed to answer, not like, she realizes now, I think, that she wasn't trying to figure out who are they? Why can't they love me? She was trying to understand like the context of her own role in a situation and like who she is. She's somebody who does look for truth. She's somebody who wants to understand why she chose the person she did, what she was trying to accomplish, her subconscious, what she was subconsciously trying to do. She learned more about herself than she ever learned about them, but that's where she won. That's why she's moving on in such great energy now. Is this leap of faith forward. She really sees herself in a more complete light now. I hope I've explained that in a way that makes sense. Five of Cups. This is going to be a situation where it will remain probably up here in the ether. There will be this little sore spot because this is still a disappointment for sure, because of what might have been, what could have been, if only this person had wanted those same things. And she still saw that could have been the potential with that person, but they didn't choose it. It would be the same thing as like thinking, wow, that person is so amazing, but they are a raging alcoholic. And so they keep losing jobs, or they keep, it's impacting their life in a negative way. And it's like, it's such a shame because that person is so talented. They're so wonderful. I would love to, have them keep, working here, but they never show up for their job because they get drunk and they forget to come to work. Those are hard choices. And that's a bummer. It's always going to be a bummer when somebody doesn't choose, something for themselves. Maybe I shouldn't have used that as an analogy, only because, as I said, it's not up to her to decide what was right for them or wrong for them. But there is still just an element of it remains a little bit of like, damn, if only we could have been something. But I understand that's not what it was, and I understand I learned a lot about me. And at this point, she's moving forward. We've got a Six of Pentacles. She may first really engage in other relationships in her life that are really fulfilling, friendships, family, other relationships that are non-romantic, until this is fully and completely like wiped from her memory with that Ten of Swords. And she's just about there. She got the lesson. She's moved on. She listened to her intuition. She's moving forward, and she's ready to love again. We got a Queen of Cups. We've got somebody who has restored themselves. They're ready for that happiness. They're ready for something sensitive, something loving. Death card. They have actually become a different person. In some ways, I think instead of being like a Queen of Pentacles can be a bit of an overgiver. I think that they simply become a more empathic, intuitive person. And I think that when they meet people from here on out, if they sense, oh, I think that this person is not willing to give, maybe they've got some of their own issues to work on, I think they'll be able to love somebody from a distance and not, like try to, give too much to them. That's a pretty big transformation. And we got a Page of Pentacles. We could have a brand new start in love, possibly an earth energy coming in there. Could also be a Scorpio with that Death card that we saw. It's going to be a very different kind of a person. Very different kind of a person. It's going to be an emperor. That makes sense because they're ready for someone who is, now that they know their own behavior, and they're not going to overly attach themselves to someone who wants to stay a Knight of Wands. Now that they see that and they know how to avoid that pitfall, no wonder they're ready for an emperor. So our divine feminine ends up with the most divine masculine of all. This is somebody who's really ready to be in a relationship. This is someone that basically what we just saw is the end of a, like somebody who's having that final cutting of the cord of their past, romance that didn't work out, and they've come to a full completion in this. We saw them with that Ten of Swords. We saw them really close that chapter of their life, and in such a beautiful way, because it's not with any bitterness. It's actually, it really is a finished symphony. And even if there is a little bit of like, oh man, that's too bad that it didn't work out with that Five of Cups, it's more like I say, it's more along the lines of, oh, that could have really been something, but I know that it couldn't have been at the same time because of what it actually was. So this is very clear. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you guys for being here. If you do enjoy my art, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.